Okay, there's the next chunk out there. This one was a bit more bare to get out, but it wasn't as much. Well, there's still an amount of rust there, but anyway. Just kept hanging in there, but anyway, again, there's all this crap underneath here, which caused all of this and all of this, and the reason why we're ripping out this spot that looked good, but I knew it was going to be just like this underneath there. So yeah, lots of fun stuff here, lots of fun. So just keep going the way we are. Get this piece trimmed out just like this. We'll sandblast in here, make sure that this is still okay back in here, and then we'll just go back the other way. Okay, so after a little bit of sandblasting, here you can see it goes everywhere. This piece is actually looking pretty good under here. There's one little spot right there. So I might see if I can just kind of carefully work this with the welder and just weld that spot up, and then any luck I won't have to try and remake any of this piece here. That seems to be the only spot that's rusted all the way through. The rest is good. So yeah, I think we should be able to get away with just doing this piece from the wiper cowl to the inner, and then yeah, I'll have to redo this guy, I'm thinking, just because there's another little rust spot right in here, and this is kind of punky up underneath here. So yeah, but again, Mother Nature's starting to roll in, so we're gonna have to cut her short today. Okay, so here's that little spot that was just a little rust spot, poke through hole right there. So we got that welded up. So we're still good all through in here, and then just cleaned up this seam in here a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to replace any of this section in this piece now. So yeah, I won't bore you with a lot of the grinding and all that stuff that I'm doing. So I'll get this piece made, and this piece in here, and just kind of spot show you through there. So, and then once this piece is in, then I think what I'll do is, like I say, once this piece is in, then I will cut. I'm actually going to cut this piece. I'm going to take a shot at it, cut this piece out all in one shot, and yeah, rebuild as required, especially when we get in here. We'll take a good look once I've got it cut, probably cut up to at least up into here. The underside looks okay on this end, but anyway, we won't know until we get this exposed and then get some sandblasting done and do that. So yeah, here we go. Okay, next piece to go in is our support piece for the wiper cowl here. So we got it all trimmed up and bent up there, treated on the back, welded primer, have your spot weld holes drilled, and that guy's just going to pop right in there. So we'll get that welded in and show you that after. Alright, there's our support piece in. Looking pretty good, not too bad. Alright, got her all spotted in the 4 spots there. So now we'll treat this with our weld through primer, and we'll lay in this piece next. So here we go. Okay, there's our next piece. Nice, cut nice and trimmed. Looking pretty good. Get it welded in, and then we can get this piece in here and cut the rest of it out. All right, final piece for this section. So we got our windshield section in there, looking pretty good. All right, so here's the last leading edge. Spot welds, holes cut, trimmed up, got her treated on the back. Weld through primer, so she's just going to sit right down in there, and just like before, weld right in here. Clean her up, on to the next one here. So get this welded in here. All right, here we go. just cut it popped free. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, there's that crap that was sitting in there that basically caused all of this. Still a little bit of that life. Still a little bit of this left here, but yeah, that's basically it. That's pretty bad, that stuff right there. And this is where we're getting into our multiple levels of metal in here. Alright, have to grab the vacuum and clean up the joint here a little bit. Okay, a little bit clearer. Definitely got some work to do here. So I'm probably going to end up taking another little corner out here because I know there's still some of that crap up underneath here. That's ceiling crap. For the most part, this still seems to be okay over here. So surprisingly, but yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll get this edge piece cut out. So I'll start kind of here, just up on a slight angle, because right, but it looks like this stuff's still okay. I'll get the sandblaster in here, but anyway, I'm going to cut it up here and then right along this edge just like before, and kind of clean this edge up a little bit, and then keep going straight across and then down and in here, and that'll get this piece out, and I'll have to do a little grinding here. And then once I've got that out and cleaned that up a little bit, then I'll bring in the sandblaster, blast this, and see what we got after that. So there we go. Okay, so looking not too bad after sandblasting. Got a couple of little pinholes right there, but I'll be able to weld them up like I did before. The rest is looking pretty good, pretty solid. So I'm gonna just touch those up right in there. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. It's definitely pitted and all that, but she's still solid. So this is the only spot that's got a rust through hole on it. So anyway, we'll get that welded up, and then start making our support piece in here. Okay. All right. So here's our support piece. A little bit of trimming, a little bit of cutting and stuff, but basically got her right where I need her to be. So now we'll just start spotting, and I can adjust her because I've got a couple of little cuts here and there just to allow for bending and molding. And then once I've got her spotted right in position, then I can just finish it up and then just fill in these little cut marks here. And yeah, that'll be all set there. So yeah, I'll show you once I've got that welded in. All right, there's our support piece all welded in on the last section here. So looking pretty good. Like I say, with anybody who has like the shrinker structure machines and stuff like that, I would definitely make this particular job nice and easy. Definitely a lot easier anyway, because then you can basically stretch and shrink the metal in two or three different ways, right? So whereas I had to make some relief cuts and just to get it shaped properly, but other than that, anyway, it's budget building at its best, I guess. So anyway, so looking pretty good there. So now we'll just treat this, and now we'll make this piece here. So here we go. All right, next piece all trimmed up, ready to go in. I cut it slightly short here, but that's okay. I'll be able to splice in this little piece in there. Not a big deal. But yeah, so get this in here, and yeah, we're on our way to having this bottom windshield section done finally. So here we go. All right, there we go. There's that piece in there now. So plus the little piece I just had to tack in here. So that's now all looking good, nice and level. That. So now I treat this with weld through primer, and then our last piece. Finally, our last piece for the one here is this piece that goes right along here. It kind of comes up and into here, kind of basically like the other side was. Like if you look over here, so basically this is how the other side turned out. So, but yeah, get onto this piece and get this done. Okay, so here's our rough cut piece, last piece here. So just still got to do a bit of trimming along this edge, which won't take too much. And then here's that funky end here that takes a little bend, and that. I've got this cut in here. It's just a relief cut, just to allow me to move this piece of like just close this in here, so it's in the right spot. I got to do a little grinding just right where my black felt line is, just to kind of let that sit. It'll sit it down in there. I think just about perfect. And then we'll finish grinding here, and we can start welding this puppy in here. So yeah, here we go. And there we go. There's our piece all trimmed up, ready to go. Spot weld holes drilled in her here. That, so keep her treated with some weld through primer on the back. Start spotting this in here and get her done. All right, here we go. All right, there we have it, folks. She is all done, at least along this section anyway. So, and a nice big step forward, considering what we had to deal with, and all underneath here, and the multi levels of metal and all that kind of stuff. But she's finally done. This I think took way longer than even putting a quarter panel on, just because of the having to do it in separate pieces and making sure that everything's straight and having to form everything and all that kind of fun stuff. Again, this is where all your shrinkers, stretchers, and all that kind of cool stuff would come into play. They would definitely make the job a lot faster and that. But you can see, budget builds, this is how we do her. But yeah, so pretty happy with all this. Just gonna cover this up now with some primer, keep her covered up, and yeah, we'll move on to the next one. So yeah, see you there.